Oh, hello and good evening to you. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on news about Desawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Okanse. Tonight, the legislative instrument seeking to control the prices of petroleum, that's the cement, on the open market is now in limbo as Parliament pushes for its withdrawal based on concerns of procedural breaches. We have an extensive conversation on this, including an exclusive interview with the Trades and Industry Minister, Alhaj Kwabena Tahir Hammond. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. You'll hear from KT Hammond on this matter. Also, some national service personnel are threatening a strike action over unpaid allowances standing in arrears for the last 3 months. Now, we hear from them what exactly they intend to do. We have also some updates right now that based on this indication of a strike action, the National Service Secretariat has just released 1 month out of the number of months arrears they owe the NSS personnel. Stay with us. We'll have a conversation on that tonight. The Bank of Ghana has declined to disclose detailed information about the losses they incurred in 2022 and 2023, arguing such information will impact negatively on financial market. Tonight, we hear from the Member of Parliament for the Boko Central Constituency, Mahama Ayariga, who requested for this information from the Bank of Ghana. You have this tonight, as always, and more here on Ghana Tonight. You're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and also on X. Let's get talking. Well, let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
Two arms of government may be on warpath as the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has expressed concerns over the Supreme Court's decision to hear the anti-LGBT cases. This view comes after the Supreme Court set July 17 to rule on two requests that it stops Parliament from transmitting the anti-LGBT bill to the presidency. Attorney General Godfrey Adame argued that every step taken by Parliament was null and void since the Speaker omitted the impact analysis.
For the court to indeed determine whether the bill that is being sought to be, for want of better expression, rushed, is in the public good or indeed affects the public purse. If the bill affects the public purse, then with all respect, the court owes a duty to halt the progress of that bill.
President Akufo-Addo is asking Parliament to expeditiously confirm Deputy Energy Minister Herbert Krapa to become a Minister of State at the ministry. This appointment is coming as the substantive Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Boku-Prempeh, is set to be confirmed as running mate to the MPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Listen to Speaker of Parliament reading the request from the President to the House.
In view of the exceptionally heavy workload now attendant at the ministry, it has become necessary to appoint a Minister of State at the ministry, in the person of Honorable Herbert Krapa, who is currently a Deputy Minister. I would be extremely grateful if Parliament acts expeditiously on this request to enable the full complement of the ministers and deputy ministers to undertake their important functions as soon as possible.
Persons who walked to some district and municipal assemblies to seek services have had to return to their various destinations without being attended to. This is because the Civil and Local Government Staff Association Ghana, CLOCSAG, are on strike to demand for implementation of a new salary structure and other conditions of service as agreed in a memorandum of understanding signed in January 2022.
We are making sure that we enforce that strike in Asokwa municipality. And as a matter of fact, no staff is permitted to enter here to come and work today because we want the government to make sure that what he agreed to do, he must do it so that we can come back and work.
They've locked the door, so I didn't get into any of the offices. I'm just going back to where I come from.
Pre-tertiary teacher unions have called on the Minister of Education to suspend the Free SHS bill and allow for broader consultations. According to the leadership of the unions, the Education Minister should focus on introducing an act to fund free SHS instead of a law to legislate the policy.
The President to stop sending any bill of this sort to Parliament. They should suspend it immediately and allow wider stakeholder engagement if they want to reform education. And we're also calling on the Parliamentary Select Committee to desist working on any such document that have been sent to them by the President.
Contrary to earlier reports, the Convention's People's Party CPP has given the strongest indication of fielding a presidential candidate to contest the December 7 polls. Addressing journalists in Accra, the party noted that it has scheduled August to hold Congress to elect its flag bearer.
The Convention People's Party shall elect a flag bearer ahead of the 2024 elections. All media stations are therefore entreated to disregard any unsanctioned misinformation that the CPP will not file a flag bearer. It is never so.
Lack of adequate resources, particularly funding, is affecting the ability of the National Peace Council to effectively carry out its functions. The council says it is now overburdened with a backlog of cases, threatening its capacity for new ones as the country heads into 2024 general elections. Chairman of the council, Reverend Dr. Edu Jemfi, says his office will need about $1 million to efficiently deal with election-related activities. Reverend Edu Jemfi was speaking on the sidelines of an inter-party dialogue on election violence mitigation.
Election-related activities, in dollar terms, we need $1 million to be able to execute all the things we want to do for the elections. We have a lot of engagements. We want to do engagements in all the 275 constituencies. We have mapped up our hotspots, and we are doing the best we can to minimize these activities in these hotspots.
Well, there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. And in fact, we're finding ways of engaging with you, our viewers, a lot more. So you can scan to join our WhatsApp channel right now on TV3. Let's going to put that QR code on the screen right now. And if you scan the QR code on the screen right now, you can join our WhatsApp channel and receive up-to-the-minute news update, breaking news, and updates on all the news items we've been talking about on our 3 News WhatsApp channel. Instant access to the latest in news, videos, and more. So you just come and you can connect with us and also follow us every step of the way. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, the legislative instrument seeking to control the pricing of cement on the open market is now in limbo. What we're hearing now as Parliament pushes for its withdrawal based on concerns of procedural breaches. We have an extensive conversation on this, including an exclusive interview with the Trade Minister, Katie Hammond, on this particular issue. And this ally has already generated a lot of controversy, especially amongst the cement manufacturers and then also importers and exporters, and then every player within the construction industry. And we're going to have a conversation with them. But just to give you an idea of what has been happening, at least throughout the day in Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Alban Sumana for Bagbin, has indicated today earlier in Parliament that the Honourable Katie Hammond might consider or should consider withdrawing this LI that has already been laid in Parliament. And it was upon that argument by the former minority leader, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, about some legislative issues and constitutional matters. Let's look at what the details of this LI is, parts of it as well, and why the Honorable Haruna Idrisu makes that strong argument that this should be reconsidered. Take a look at this. And issues about what's the purpose of this regulation in the first place. The streamlining and regularization of the pricing of cement for wholesale and retail distribution in the country, and also the pricing of cement in the country in a fair and transparent manner. The prevention of price gouging in the price of cement, and then also the promotion of some level of transparency. The application of the regulations, according to the details of this Ghana Standards Authority Pricing of Cement Regulations 2024, would apply to manufacturers of cement, producers of raw materials for cement, and suppliers, sellers, and distributors of cement. And then you see a supplier or retailer of cement shall each month submit a report on the ex-factory price of cement to the committee. And also, the committee shall each month publish a report on the average ex-factory price of cement as pertaining in all the regions across the country. And that's one of the issues that some players or stakeholders within this sector have questioned the Honorable K.T. Amon on, that why should the price of cement in Accra be the same as what you buy, in, for instance, in the Ashanti region? Because that's one of the examples that he gives, that if a particular brand of cement is selling at, say, 95 cedis, why should it be selling at 110 cedis in the Ashanti region? But you have the suppliers say, you know what, transportation costs and other things as well leads into the build-up. That's why there's that difference. But if, according to the LI, if they fail to comply, here's what's going to happen. A person shall not sell a maximum that's above the maximum price allowed or the set committee, and then also vary the wholesale. And if you contravene sub-regulation 2, you're liable on summary conviction to a fine of not less than 2,500 penalty units and not more than 4,000 penalty units, or to a term of imprisonment of not less than 2 years and not more than 3 years, or both. Yeah, that's what we're saying, right? So let's go back to yesterday. This is what happened in Parliament yesterday. And when this bill was first laid, and in fact, the minority in Parliament did not object to the laying of this bill in Parliament yesterday. Take a look.
Reporting, the price reporting to the committee, and if that is the case, Mr. Speaker, the advice is that it's no longer a controversial issue, so it can go. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The bill is duly presented. It's referred to the Committee on Constitution, Subsidiary Legislation to consider and report.
Well, the bill was late, and the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Honorable Jose Usu, was the one presiding over the business of the House yesterday. After this bill was laid, then the Honorable Murtala Mohammed, who is also a member of this Trades Committee, also raised questions about why his side, the minority, even allowed this LI to be laid in the first place. I want to take a look at this. And yesterday, when we spoke to Honorable Murtala Mohammed after parliamentary proceedings, and when this LI was laid, without any hesitation by his side, the minority, he had concerns. But let's recall that. Take a look.
Whatever form and shape it takes is completely unacceptable. We have been against this proposed LI on principle. Now, this morning, I raised concerns about the possibility of having this LI laid. I went to the leadership and I told them that we should not allow this LI to be laid. And the argument was that the LI, there have been some proposed amendments to the proposed LI. What amendment? They have succeeded in laying it, which is against some of us, our position, and I made my position very clear to the leadership that I am completely against it. And when it comes to the debate, we will speak out, and we'll speak out strongly We must not allow this thing to go on. It's just unacceptable.
Murtala Mohammed there, he is not in sync with the minority's position on this LI and allowing it to go and be laid in Parliament yesterday. Guess what? Today, the Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Suman Kingsford Bagman, says because of the constitutional issues that the Honorable Haruna Idrisu raised, Katie Hammond should consider withdrawing this LI. Take a look.
So that they know that Parliament itself is also concerned about the instrument that is being considered. There will be no need for them to start agitating. They will wait to see what Parliament will do. We have here a serious challenge, and that challenge is vision. The challenge is from the Constitution because the instruments are junior laws and they are delegated by lawmakers to either the executive or agents of the executive. That is done through laws passed by this House or the Constitution. And so to have a provision in the Constitution saying that when those delegated legislation, delegated by the House, is being brought to the House has no authority to touch them by way of amendments.
Well, so while all of this is ongoing, the stakeholders in the cement value chain are asking to be consulted on the proposed legislative instrument. The minister, Alhaji Kabna Tahir Hammond, says he did his consultation. At some point he said he need not consult these stakeholders. Well, my colleague Beatrice Edu sat with him earlier and he had a few words to say about the issue of consultation. And we'll have two stakeholders within the cement value chain joining us right now to respond to some of the issues that Katie Hammond had to say. Take a look.
It seems to me that the good people of Ghana are getting a fair deal from manufacturers of cement who seems to me to have constituted themselves into a kind of cabal and are shortchanging the good people of Ghana.
Why do you think a country with free trade regime would need a regulation to control the pricing of cement?
I heard it being bandied about all over the world. The free trade regime, yes, of course. I mean, I guess you would also be reading the Constitution. I mean, the Constitution has got all sorts of rights in there. Human rights, it's human rights. You read it carefully, it tells you may have those rights, but they are not absolute. All the rights are constrained. In the free trade economies, free trade markets, advanced countries like United Kingdom, America, and all those things, no one, no enterprise, no company has a freedom to do whatever they want to do. I mean, I don't see why there should be freedom in Ghana for any particular sector, any company or a group of people to come together to consider themselves into the cabal. There's nothing like absolute free market. It doesn't work like that.
There's still the need for consultation. But you seem to give the impression that you didn't need to consult anybody.
So consultation, and why do you say that I haven't consulted them? You know, okay, I've consulted enough. I have consulted since about January of this year. Dr. Dawson Amwa, the chairman of the Ghana, I think, Cement Manufacturers Association, Chamber of Ghana Chamber of Manufacturing Association, Dr. Edison. I've been somebody I've known from the times long before I got anywhere near the ministry. Somebody I know very well. Just on my nomination and approval to become the minister, he was the first person who introduced this concept of regulation in the cement industry to me. Many times he came to my chambers, my law firm, to have the discussions with me. So when it became necessary to first put in place the original LI 2480, it was Dr. Amwa, Dawson Amwa, who actually gave me the original draft. This is the man who is now going around telling the whole world that I don't do consultation. He actually gave me the draft. That whole thing is his handwriting. It's his handiwork.
So what's the point you're making?
The point I'm making is that people just go around and start bandying anything that they want, and it becomes a kind of news. It could not be, it's palpably false for any suggestion that I haven't consulted. When we finish with this regulation, it is with this same person that we started discussing the concept of regulating prices. And then ultimately, when I handed this matter over to the committee that is established under the LI that I've just told you about, he became a member of the committee by virtue of he's been the president of the group, the chamber that you talk about. And so I put him in charge together with the chairman of the committee to make sure that this sanitization of the prices that I've talked about becomes a reality. That is Dr. Dawson Amwa. He consistently has been at the forefront of all the attempts.
It's surprising you say that because I'm going...
Pretty annoying me. That's the point I'm making. It's surprising because I know about this. And he sent me messages insulting me. I do know this is the document that he assigned it. He assigned this document. Now I found it completely atrocious that a person can do this. This is duplicitous. You cannot do that. This is the person who at any material time was in the forefront of all the matters that I'm talking about. How can he then turn around and send this petition? For the period that I've told you, I've asked the committee to make sure that there's a proper consultation on the question of the pricing. I have variously been told that he has refused to attend meetings or he's attended.
Because he's stating here that he was not consulted, and I was just going to read that.
I have to, because I've read it and I've responded to it, and there have been other issues attendant on that. You know, so... Don't, let me give you a very straight advice. In the world that we operate in, don't take one segment of anything.
Well, that's why I'm here, and I'm having a conversation with you.
I understand that. And they sent me a little bit more insulting stuff, you know, on the...
But you also returned his insults. You said that he is a PhD holder. You do not think that he has a problem with reading and writing.
Reading the Constitution. He said that Parliament should rebuff me. They shouldn't allow me to lay my...
But did you have to respond that way? Because...
You don't tell me how I respond to... listen, don't let temper... Yes, I had to respond the way I thought was appropriate.
Well, so that's Katie Hammond. He is the Trades Minister. And a number of things that he said, responding to issues or directed at Dr. Dawson Amwa. Unfortunately, he was to join us, but he couldn't. We have two other stakeholders within the cement value chain joining us on Zoom right now. Emmanuel Cherry is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, and also Samson Asaki Awingobit is Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First of all, you heard the minister, and I'll start off with you, Mr. Awingobit. You heard the minister. He says consultation was done. He started consultation as far back as January, and he's consulted you, the stakeholders in the value chain. Why do you say no consultation was done?
Well, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Good. A very big good evening to you and your viewers all over the country and beyond the shores of Ghana. I must say that the industry doesn't work in the vacuum. I'm quite surprised that at this point in time, the minister is now saying that even the allies that he presented in Parliament was handwritten and signed by Dr. Amwa Dawson, and then now he doesn't understand why he's not raising this issue. That would be a step on the back of the minister. But from where I sit as the Importer and Exporter Association, I speak because I know what it goes to the cement producers in this country when they bring their product to the port, the cost involved that they have to go through. Before we are talking about taking it to their factories and then started doing the bargaining or started doing the processing and before buying, the cost that involved there, that is the utility cost, the cost of production, cost of transportation and stuff. That is where we are looking at. And from where I sit, I strongly believe that government also needs to also meet them some halfway. At least there are certain taxes that will be raising issues in regards to cost of doing business in the country. I was thinking, looking forward to see where the minister will say, okay, so if the LI is what the people are against, then what do you think we should do? Because at the end of the day, we want something that will help all of us. That's something that will help the Ghanaian consumers as well.
Right.
And so, okay, I will go to cabinet and convince government to say, okay, these taxes that we pay, maybe perhaps we reduce by maybe 10%, 20%, 15%, or 30% for you. Then, of course, by so do the final product that goes to the market, you also reduce. There wouldn't be any need to go to Parliament or this tangle that we find ourselves entangled with between the West or from the minister and the West from the East. Alfred, if you go to the port, be it those who bring finished product, like a company like Dangote, company like Jata Cement and others, Soul Energy and others. There are other companies like Gasim, Simav, Diamond Cement, who also bring in clinker to do the processing. But they all go through the same payment. For instance, if those who import through the port, they pay what we call port dues per tonnage of whatever they want. When they say per tonnage, you can put it into bag forms, like cement bags. 20 of the bag makes 1 ton, okay?
Okay.
And so you see that they have to pay $4.32 per ton. And so if your company bring, let's say, 56,000 metric tons, you have to convert $4. You have to calculate $4 times $4.32 times 56,000. You see how much they're paying only for port dues. Stevedoring charges, they're paying almost $5.33 per ton. And I told you that per tonnage of the cement industry is about 20 bags. And so you can calculate if a vessel of 17,000 metric tons or 56,000, minimum is 17,000 metric tons. Maximum is about 56,000 metric tons if a vessel called to the port here.
I see.
So let's say if current load is taking $5.33 per ton, multiplied by the quantity, then we talk of haulage transportation. That's haulage. Depending on the distance, maybe the factory is closer to the port.
Okay, I get that. So you want to run through a number of elements, but let me also bring in quickly, Mr. Cherry. Emmanuel Cherry leads the Chamber of Construction Ghana. Mr. Cherry, can you hear me? Good evening to you.
Good evening, my good brother. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's good to have you join us. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And first off, this is what the minister is saying, Mr. Cherry, that your claim that you, the stakeholders within the value chain, cement value chain, were not consulted, it's not true. He consulted. He's been consulting since January.
You know, the least said about this, the better for us all. Sincerely, the minister is very untruthful whenever he says that he has done a stakeholder consultation. He should just show proof of which venue was that particular engagement took place, which players that he has been able to assemble on this subject matter. To the best of my knowledge, Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, we have 15 constant members. None has been consulted. Yesterday, thankfully, at the engagement we had with Ghana Standard Authority, they try as much as possible to bring harmony among us with the key stakeholders. So we're invited to a meeting yesterday. Right. And then, surprisingly to our hearing, the committee that he, the same sector minister, has constituted, inaugurated into office, they deny knowledge of that particular draft bill. Nobody have access to that bill to talk of the content in that particular bill. So if the committee, which are advisory committee to the minister, deny knowledge of this, then what happens to us? So sincerely, the minister has not been truthful. He has not been fair to we, the industry players. And number two, even the committee instituted, I don't see the consumers in there, especially with the developers or the builders or the consumers who represent the larger market players, like grader, the road contractors and what have you. We consume the larger part of this particular product.
I see. So if you're saying that
represented on that particular committee.
if you're saying the minister has been untruthful, is that to say the statement he makes that he's been consulting since January and that, in fact, consultation has taken place extensively is not true?
It's not true. Let's ask him. He should show proof. Which institutions and organizations has he consulted? Which are the stakeholders?
He mentions the Cement Manufacturers Association, Dr. Dawson. I'm sure you are in the same industry with him, so you speak to him. Did he not mention to you that the minister had consulted?
Yesterday, collectively, we were all at the meeting. And then to our surprise, everybody, all the key stakeholders at that particular meeting deny knowledge of seeing even the color of that particular draft bill, talk alone the content in it. So if they have that particular engagement, what is the content? What is he hiding? You see, we don't have a problem. As Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, our issues are very simple. All that is seeking to do is to bring price regulations within the system, which is going to be a plus to us, especially on the consumer aspect. But do not forget, the golden egg that he's trying to protect is being laid by a hen. So if you don't protect the hen, tomorrow you wake up not getting the golden egg to enjoy. So therefore, the two must go hand in hand. If the price regulation comes to play, and then you force it through the throat of the manufacturers, and then they could not, fathoms it any further. What then happen? They may be compelled to fold up or move to the neighboring country to do business in there. And if that happens, it will affect us, we the consumers. And if that happens, which means we'll be forced to go to the neighboring country to bring it down, which is going to be more expensive than what you are envisaging. So what exactly is the concern of the manufacturers? They laid fairly valid concerns before him concerning the forex, exchange rate, energy cost, and what have you.
I see.
All those things were part of the concern being raised by these manufacturers.
One of the claims that he makes is that you, the stakeholders, in fact, the entire construction industry, you've constituted yourself into a cabal, and you are shortchanging Ghanaians. You are just cheating Ghanaians because you are benefiting from everything that's going on.
This minister, he should be very careful and mindful about his choice of words. He's been stepping on the toes of the youth for this while, and now he's trying to generalize this to the other arms, which is unfortunate, especially at his caliber. He should be very mindful about his utterances, because we started a program yesterday at
we know that. We were there. Yes.
Very well.
Okay.
And then as to speak now, Minister of West and Housing has also started a program yesterday at Labadi Beach Hotel.
All right.
What is he trying to seek? He's trying to harmonize the construction industry and then hear the concerns of everybody and then put up the proper legislations or the policies document and then submit to Cabinet for Cabinet's advice and then forwarding to Cabinet. This is a young man with brains. You're the one calling the youth that their head are coconut with water, no brains. See what you are doing. Just come out and then throw words, dangle words around, insulting everybody as if he has monopoly over insult.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way.
All right.
What cartel? Does he understand the word cartel?
Well, anyway, so yes, you disagree. So what next? It says it's a cabal, not a cartel. So in 30 seconds, so what are you going to do now that he's very, very sure in his mind that he's done the needful? He's going ahead with this LI. Parliament says, well, the Speaker says he should consider withdrawing it. So for you, the players in the sector, what are you going to do next? Quickly.
Yeah, first of all, our concern is you want a copy of the draft bill,
okay,
which has been laid yesterday.
Right.
Look into it and see whether it's going to be a fair playing ground for everybody. If that happens, it's good to go. But in case we chance on the bill and then it speaks otherwise, definitely we're going to petition Parliament once again and then petition the President. And we take it from there. Because you have 21 days. Only 1 day is gone, 20 days more, which means we can use for some few days to do a lot. So you shouldn't be celebrating at this early stage. All we are seeking to do is we want to protect the construction industry entirely. So either he's fighting for us or not.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. You were just ending the point there, and thank you so much, Emmanuel Cherry. You've made your point. Emmanuel Cherry is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Construction, also Samson Asaki Awingobit, Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And clearly, Parliament, in fact, the Speaker's position on this LI is quite clear. We'll see how things play out in Parliament going forward. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, some national service personnel are threatening a strike over unpaid allowances, standing in arrears of 3 months and over, in fact, between 3 and 5 months. We hear from them what exactly they intend to do and in what form this strike action they are talking about will take. But they issued a press statement not too long ago, and we're just going to put portions of the press statement on the screen. They constitute themselves into a group. They say they're called the Concerned National Service Scheme Personnel Association of Ghana. That's CONSPAC. Concerned National Service Scheme Personnel Association of Ghana. And, you know, this over the last number of years, we've had so many concerned groups coming up. The National Service Persons, the latest to have it. They say the reason why they are going on strike is that they are unable to pay their accommodation and utility bills due to the non-payment of the allowances. Also, inability to transport themselves to their various user agencies regularly to meet their required number of days to be qualified for validation due to non-payment of allowances. Also, let's look at the third one. They have about 5 reasons. Let's flip to that. It says their inability to feed themselves at their various workplaces. They don't have money to buy food. And then also they've been borrowing money from different sources to survive the hardship they are going through. Now, also, the last point, they are developing health complications because of the non-payment of their arrears. Right? That's what's happening to these this group, and these are national service persons. This is not the first time we're having this conversation related to the non-payment of allowances of national service persons in this country. If my memory serves me right, this is about the 3rd time or so. The last time we were on this path, after the last conversation we had, the National Service Secretariat released some 2 months to them, and then later another 2 months. So they've been receiving their arrears in bits and pieces, as you say, tot by tot. Okay, but it's not looking good. And it is affecting them. That's what they're saying. So these 5 points that they put in their statement is a reason why they're contemplating a strike. But I want to find out how this strike is going to play out, and especially whether this is going to be a nationwide one, because we have national service persons here who are at work. Clenam Kofi Tamaklo is the lead convener for the Forum for Accountability. That is the umbrella group which these concerned persons are part of, correct? It's good to have you, Senam.
Thank you very much.
So, if you speak up a bit for me, I understand that this concerned group is in the Volta region.
It's in the
right?
Volta region.
Volta region. The Volta region national service persons.
Yes.
So they started their strike today?
They started their strike today. That's for the Jessica Municipal Assembly. So they've currently told all their members who are National Service Executive members that they should no longer go to work because they believe that they are falling sick due to the issues on the ground. We're working, we're not getting paid. Right. Me currently sitting here, last week I developed gastritis.
You developed what?
Gastritis.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because I can't eat. When I go to work, I'm not able to buy food continuously.
You can't
because I'm not being paid on time. That's a big issue right now. A lot of people go to work, they're developing ulcer. If not gastritis, then ulcer.
Yeah, but gastritis is you get it when you from what I know, you abuse painkillers, you know, that's one of the symptoms or the side effects of abusing painkillers, right? So are you saying that you don't eat, so you eat, you take painkillers?
No. So
what's happening?
This is how it goes. So I'm thinking if I buy maybe Bell Cola, I'm drinking it on an empty stomach because I'm living on a budget. Right. I'm living budget to budget. So with an issue like this, if I just buy Bell Cola and I drink it on an empty stomach, I start developing gastritis. Continuously doing that for months at a time, it continuously leads to you.
So essentially, you don't have money to buy food.
Basically, we don't have money to buy food.
We can just leave it at that. But I mean, it's troubling, to be honest with you. Yeah. I can understand where you sit. But before we came on air, we just got a notice from the National Service Secretariat that they have paid. How many months, first of all, how many months do they owe you?
So currently it's 3 months for
3 months.
University graduates.
For university graduates.
For nurses and teacher trainees, it's 5 months for them.
For nurses and teacher trainees, 5 months.
Yes.
And so they have released, in fact, let's put that statement on the screen. Have you seen that?
I've seen it.
So upon this threat of a strike, then just this evening we got this statement that they've released 1 month. 1 month out of the 3 months.
Which they've not released.
Is that you haven't received the money?
Nobody's received that money. If you can call any national services, the executive, so you can call them and ask them to send you a screenshot of the money they supposedly received. And I would like to put this across. The national executives that are currently releasing these communiques are not from our batch. We do not recognize their authority because they are from last year's batch. Mr. Kansi, up to now.
So you're speaking to this statement. Let's put that statement of this NASPA, National Service Persons Association. They say there's no strike.
Yeah, they say there's no strike.
There's no strike, no declaration of strike, right? And let's put that. It says NASPA has not declared a strike. Let's put that on the screen right now, okay? They said the National Service Persons Association wishes to address a recent announcement made by a group calling itself Concerned and National Service Persons Association, which has declared a strike. They say the official representative body for all national service personnel in Ghana, NASPA, categorically states that they have not declared a strike. So who are you?
So right now, I'd like to state emphatically that we don't recognize this institute. We don't recognize NASPA's, the national executives.
You don't recognize the national executives of your association of national service persons.
So I'd like to break it down for you.
Okay.
So currently, these people represent the interests of last year's national service executives.
Right.
We're supposed to vote for our national executives about 3 or 4 months ago. But I don't know who is delaying those elections. Currently, the people we voted into power at the district level and at the regional level. And the person who's called this strike is from the Jasipan district, Mr. Ruben Abeniega. He's one of our members, and he's the one who's pushed forward for this strike. He's told the people in his district that don't go to work anymore. He's a member of NASPA.
Okay.
He's a member of NASPA. He's called for this.
Okay.
They can't come out and say a strike hasn't been called, because the regional person who's been given the mandate by the electoral commission, they gave him the mandate to say this. The people up there have no mandate to talk, because who empowered them to talk? Whose authority are they speaking on? Last year's executives. They have no mandate, and they have everything they say lacks credibility, because who are they representing? Whose interests are they representing?
The National Service Personnel
from
Association,
last year.
NASPA.
That's what I'm telling you. That
so these executives are those who served last year.
Who served last year?
Why is the election for the new ones delayed?
I can't see to that. We initially told that it was going to be held in February. It was going to be week after week, 2 weeks after the districts. Then you're going to go to regionals, and then 2 weeks after we're supposed to go to nationals. But it's been delayed, and we're finishing in about 3 months' time. So how are they still in office?
So this 1 month that they have released, and please, we'll look for that statement communicating the payment of the 1 month out of the 3 months and put it on the screen shortly. That is not going to persuade you from not going ahead with this strike.
No. If I borrowed 700 cedis a month ago, I'm now paying over 1,400. I need those 2 months. My people need those 2 months. National service personnel all over the country need their money. You can't come and give us peanuts and expect us to survive. We can see the price increases that have been planned for July. How do you expect us to survive?
So, but how have you been coping all the while? Tell me.
Loans. Everybody I know is taking loans from a relative. If you're unfortunate enough not to have a relative who can give you a loan, you're going to take it from these third-party loan companies. And as I told you last time I was here, we are being prey for predators. These predators are the loan companies that National Service Secretariat gave our data to. I made accusations here, and we did a press conference to state categorically that we would hold them accountable for that.
No, the National Service Secretariat gave your data to
a third-party loan company.
A third-party loan company.
Yes.
And they are the ones who are giving you loans.
They are giving certain people loans.
Those who want to.
Who want loans, yes.
Take the loans from them.
Yes.
Because of these arrears.
Because of these arrears.
And is this allegation that you can back with information that you have?
Yes. He sent thousands of messages. By this? I'm ready to stand by this.
That the National Service Secretariat gave your data out?
Yes, to a third-party loan company. And I'll tell you the facts on the ground.
Okay.
As of the first time he came for an interview here was in February.
Sure.
And that was at a time where we were owed 4 months. And then at that time, that's when a loan company texted thousands of NSS personnel, hundreds of thousands of NSS personnel all over this country to tell them that, congratulations, you've been qualified for a loan. And they'll tell you that you are qualified for 2,499 cedis. And at the time, if you took that loan, Mr. Council, you're paying 100% interest. You're paying over 4,000 Ghana cedis. Why do you wait for 4 months, get into the 5th month, to announce this scheme? Once you announce this scheme to the nation, once we come on TV, we made accusations towards them. We never mentioned their name due to the fact that we're afraid of a counter-sue. They made these allegations. We made these allegations on TV, and they shut down their sites. They shut down their sites for close to 2 months. And when they came back, they reduced the interest. This is a wicked agenda by the Secretariat and this loan company.
I see.
Now I'm here to tell them that we won't back down. Initially, we had received, the movement I represent, we had received some threats and some bribes.
You've received threats from who?
Threats and bribes from certain people that I can't even say where they are
bribes.
from. Offers for bribes. They splintered our group, Mr. Okansi. They splintered the Front for Accountability. We were down. We had internal arguments about whether it's worth arguing about, whether it's worth fighting or risking our lives for something that is just national service. But rather, there's no matter of national service, about right and wrong. That's what I'm here to fight for. I'm fighting for right or wrong.
I see. And in fact, we're getting a lot of messages from some of the national service persons who are watching us right now, indicating that it is indeed the case that they're all going through the same hardship that you're talking about. That you are expected to report to work every day, but then you do not have your money, the allowances to go to work every month. So what's going to happen is that you are in the last 2-3 months of your service, right? You end when?
I'm supposed to end in September.
In September. So in the next 2 months, you're supposed to be done. And you are owed 3 months to 5 months arrears. Now, let me do this quickly. Gideon Osei is the president of National Service Personnel. Is the gentleman you're saying you don't recognize?
We no longer recognize the authorities.
You don't recognize them because they are not current.
They don't have the mandate of the people who are supposed to put them there. They're supposed to represent our interest. I never voted for him. I never voted against him. My regional executive never voted for him or voted against him.
Right.
So how can I recognize his authority?
Gideon, good evening. He's joining us on Zoom. Can you hear me?
Evening, boss.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you. Can you also hear me?
Yes. Now, first of all, are you a serving national service person?
Yes, I'm the national president of the National Service Person Association.
Okay. Are you currently doing your national service?
No, I'm done with my service.
You are done with your national service? So you did your service last year?
Last year.
You completed last year? So why are you still serving as a president for this year group?
Oh, okay. So thank you for this question. Basically, according to the structures of the association, me being the president means for you to become the national president, you pass through structures of the association, which starts from the district.
That's okay. I understand that because I've been there before, right? But so why are you still the president for this year group who didn't vote for you or they don't have any sort of representation or relationship with you?
Oh, okay, so actually I was voted last year, so we are yet to do national elections. So we are yet to have our national elections. That's why I still post on as the national.
I see. So do you know that they are owed 3 to 5 months arrears?
Yes, please. Actually,
okay.
Current national service personnel, that's the university graduate, 2 months allowance, that's the mainstream, and the teacher training, 3 months.
Is it 2 months or 3 months? Because if you are counting the release, the statement that just came through, they're saying they have not yet received the money that this statement is saying they have released. So why 2 months, not 3 months?
Okay, so and I would like to use this medium to also educate the general public on how National Service Scheme calendar runs. Since I'm the president, I have been attending management meetings and a lot of explanations have been given to me. So national service calendar runs from 15th to 15th of every month. That is why the evaluation forms are released 13th of every month or 15th of every month, which shows that national service personnel, they have started their month. So once today's date is 3rd of July, it means it's left with 12 days to end the month of June. So basically, national service owes the mainstream national service personnel 2 months ended. So, but it's barely 3 months now because we are.
Do you identify with their plight, the concerns that they are raising, reason why they're even contemplating a strike? That some of them cannot go to work, they cannot feed, and they've been borrowing money. Does the association identify these concerns?
Oh, Daddy, my boss, Mr. Kansi, I've been there before, and I have to put myself in the shoes of every service personnel because I quite remember when I was doing my service, I was staying at Dansoman, and I'll pick car all the way from Dansoman to Ashoman Estate to render my service, which was very difficult for me, very challenging. So I have to put myself in their shoes, and we cannot attest to the fact that the economy and how things are going, things are not easy. And even the 715 is not something you can write home with. So yes, I know I am with them and I'm siding with them, and we are not just there. Together with management executives, we are fighting, or we are advocating payment of the allowances.
Okay, well, thank you, Gideon Osei. Well, so I think he confirms a number of things that you say, that yes, you didn't vote for him, you don't feel like he represents you well, so then what next for you? 30 seconds, quickly.
So currently, I think our next steps will be we are reaching out to the other districts and the other regional executives, and we are planning a nationwide strike. So currently, we are talking. You're
planning a nationwide strike.
A nationwide strike.
If the 2 months or 3 months arrears are not cleared.
Paid on time.
Thank you, Plenam. Appreciate your time here on Ghana Tonight. We're back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us. There's a lot more to talk about. Don't go away. Welcome back to Ghana Tonight. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. Now, coming up next, the fuel prices have been on the rise over the last 2 to 3 days, with the first pricing window of the month of July kicking in, and a number of the oil marketing companies have been increasing the prices of petroleum products at the pumps over the last 3 days. And as we've seen, for instance, for Goil and Shell, petrol and diesel have gone up 14 cedis 80 pesos, and diesel 14 cedis 92 pesos respectively. Star Oil took the lead a couple of days ago, with a liter of diesel selling at 14 cedis 79 pesos and petrol 13 cedis 88 pesos. And then also we are seeing a number of the oil marketing companies following suit to increase the prices of petrol and diesel at the pumps. Let's do this quickly, and let's go on Zoom now. Duncan Amoah is Executive Secretary of the Importers and Export, that's the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, that's COPEC, is joining us on Zoom. Duncan Amoah, appreciate your time. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First of all, with this recent increase we've seen in the petrol and diesel prices at the pumps, is it primarily as a result of the depreciation of the cedi?
It is downright so. International benchmarks over the window were not as bad. In fact, if you take for petrol, for instance, the difference marginally was about $12 a metric ton. That will translate to about 7-6 pesos per liter here. But if you look at what the cedi's contribution to that alone was, you had a situation where the Chamber Bulk Oil Distribution Companies advisory on Forex for the window, the last window, June, was quoting the exchange, that is the cedi's exchange to $1 at 14.95. However, due to the cedi's poor run of form, this current window in July, the same Seaboard Forex advisory is quoting between 15.50 and 15.55. some 60 pesos variance. And so if you look at the weight of that, you would simply end up having the OMCs adjusting upwards. Diesel went up a bit more by some $50 a metric. LPG did about $40 per kilogram. And unfortunately, or fortunately for Ghanaians, the oil marketing companies, due to the deregulated market regime, did not pass on the full force of these increases that you would have seen at the pumps. So prices we have picked so far, samples from the market, we are doing between 1% and 3%.
I see.
For most of the oil marketing companies, for both petrol and diesel.
And Duncan, just the city depreciation that you make reference to, today when we checked at the Forex Bureau, I want to take a look at this. This is what we saw. The city is trading at 15 cedis, 50 pesos if you are selling your dollar to them. But if they are selling to you, you're buying at 15 cedis, 90 pesos to the dollar. And then you see 20 cedis for the pound and 17 cedis for the euro if you're buying. And that's what it is, Duncan. And that's why I want to find out from you if going forward, as we're seeing now, this depreciation in the first week of July could go on to influence the second pricing window in the month of July.
Clearly it would, but then again, it depends on how far the stretch gets. If it is around 15, as I did indicate, 15.5, and we do about 15.6, the stretch of increases would not be as heavy as you saw from 14.95 to about 15.55. So yes, the CD clearly has not stabilized as one would have expected. But that poor run of form would have an effect in the middle of the month July on petrol prices in the country. But that effect would largely be down to how much the city depreciated. And then again, the fact that you also are getting a few hurricanes across Jamaica, there's still pressure for OPEC, as it were, to flood the market. If they do, prices would head north. Unfortunately, we don't have a situation where you can safely predict that between now and the 15th of July, the CD will perform creditably, international benchmarks will come down. So the Ghanaian petroleum market remains very volatile. Mind you, the government of Ghana is also unable to do anything about the myriad of taxes that you have on fuel products. And once the government's hands are tied due to the IMF program we find ourselves in, what it means is that there's no intervention likely to be, given to the people of Ghana.
That's right.
The market forces, that is demand supply globally, and what prices international benchmarks throw at us, would have a full net effect on pump prices. Again, the local currency CD is also
and it's a very, very important point you make about the fact that government can't do much about this, and we're left on our own as consumers. Duncan Amoah speaks for the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Executive Secretary for that matter. Duncan, appreciate your time here on Ghana Tonight, and we'll continue to deal with the increases at the pumps, petrol and diesel. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And when petrol prices goes up, you know how it works. It affects almost everything. And this is as a result of the city depreciation. That's according to the diagnosis of Duncan Amoah. We'll see how the coming days will look like going into the second pricing window in the month of July. There's more news on 3news.com, but if you can make some time, scan this QR code within seconds. We'll put that QR code on the screen and join our WhatsApp channel for up-to-the-minute news updates and all the details, everything that you need on the 3 News channel. Please make some time and scan this QR code right now. Take a look at this. Yep. And you can follow us every step of the way with all the updates in the news that comes through. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. On behalf of the rest of the team, we do appreciate your company. Tomorrow, we'll bring you Constituency Watch. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.